जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जन। यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जन। यमुनतीरावनचारि। यमुनतीरावनचारि। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा गोपी जन वल्लभा। राधा गोपी जन वल्लभा। जय निताय पतिता पावन गौर हरि। जय निताय पतिता पावन गौर हरि। प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सतीश दिवाइन ग्रेस सर्वचार्य अरविंद भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णविंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled divinities, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled divinities. All glories, all glories, all glories to Lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Agyantimirandhasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritam Cha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam pangam langayate guru. Yatkripa tamaham bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Veshatarini Panchatattvamakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sarupakam Bhaktavtaram Bhaktakham Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, chapter 23, verse number 24. Satadhatu samadaya vacha kuvalayikshana sarajam vidyati vasu oh veni bhutancha mudhajan satadbhartu samadaya.
My voice better now? There was actually a microphone connected.
Yes,
Now
Prabhu.
it's good.
Okay, sorry. Satadbhartu samadaya vacha kuvalayikshana sarajam bibrati vaso venibhutam shamurdhajan. Satadbhartu samadaya vacha kuvalayikshana sarajam bibrati vaso venibhutam shamurdhajan. Synonyms: Sa, she, Tat, then, Bhartu, of her husband, Samadaya, accepting, Vachaha, words, Kuvalaya, Ikshana, the lotus-eyed, Sarajam, dirty, Bibrati, wearing, Vasaha, clothing, Veni Bhuta, matted, Cha, and Murdhaja, hair. Translation purport: by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: the lotus-eyed Devahuti accepted the order of her husband because of her dirty dress and the locks of matted hair on her head. She did not look very attractive. Purport: it appears that Devahuti's hair had remained uncombed for many years and had become complicated in tangles. In other words, she neglected her bodily dress and comforts to engage in the service of her husband. Recently, I was um, hearing, and Maharaj was mentioning that the way we can make a lot of progress in our Krishna consciousness is by selfless service. And he was emphasizing so much on selfless service. So when I read, and somehow that was striking to me, and especially in the past, there was celebration of His Holiness Adhana Swami's Maharaj Vyas Puja. And then I was recollecting when those who have read Journey Home, I was recollecting how when Maharaj was going and crossing the border, and when he came to the border of India, the guard told him, "You cannot come inside because there are many beggars." And Maharaj said, "Please let me in this time, and someday I will do something for your country." And then I was relating to the various project Maharaj was doing, which is like, okay, children are hungry, um, and they are not coming to school because they don't have food to eat. So let us arrange some meals for them so they come for their education. And then started from there, um, whether it is um, physical health, care of physical health, whether it is food, um, or in various phases, something that was standing out for me, or whether it is selfless eye care camp, various things that I was somehow, it was something resonating deeply in my heart, um, that as like wherever there is an opportunity for some selfless service, um, somehow Maharaj was himself like opportunity to serve devotees, because naturally whatever a devotee does is for pleasing Krishna, and keeping Krishna in the center, whether taking care of the health, taking care of the emotions, taking care of uh, um, the spiritual understanding, whatever different physical needs, emotional needs, spiritual needs, whatever needs are there. He was always focusing on selfless service, selfless service, selfless service. And then when I was recently reading, I was uh, in one of the book, and I read selfless service is a very um, um, like sure short way to please the Lord and receive love for the Lord. For us, selfless service naturally it's always Krishna centered. And here, when I was previously when I read this verse, I was contemplating on the selfless service of Mother Devahuti. To what level her service was selfless. Um, Her hairs remained uncombed for many years, and they have become matted, and her bodily dress was neglected, um, and her comforts, everything was sacrificed to engage in the service of her husband. And in our own lives, we can look for some opportunities, and actually, in giving, we receive. When we try to be comfortable in our own comfort zone, and okay, this is what I am doing and this is what I can do, and I just continue doing this, and that's about it with my life, and I'll keep practicing my Krishna consciousness. And Krishna never forces or go against the desire of a living entity. Krishna gave instruction through the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, and then Krishna may give inspiration, Krishna may speak through devotees. But then it's about the responsibility of the individual, how they want to serve the Lord. The Lord can be served in many, many ways. Like Prabhupada says, preaching means results. Prabhupada said preaching means results. If results are not coming, I mean, at one side, we are result oriented, at another side, we are not looking for results. And this is what Prabhupada taught us. Um, So this is because we want to use our intelligence to see how we can, I mean, with our limited time and energy we have, what is the best use of our time and where can we render the best service. And that is measured based on the results. And Prabhupada would say, okay, how much prasada was distributed? How many books were distributed? How many people chanted the holy name of Krishna? How many people became devotees? He would need a regular report, and people would give letters. We hear like Bhakti Tirth Maharaj, he would send letters. This happened, and Prabhupada was visibly pleased. So there are various ways um, we all can serve to give out Krishna, um, through through books, through holy name, through prasadam. Various ways are there. But the idea is, um, and actually, especially Lord Krishna says, if we give the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, we will be noticed by Lord Krishna. Naturally, if we become noticed by Lord Krishna, mercy will descend. We want to be very eager to grow. We want to be very eager to absorb. We want to be very eager to relish. And this happens by becoming very eager to serve. One time, one devotee asked this one question to Shyamanand Prabhu, that how do I know if I am well situated in Krishna consciousness? And I was thinking he will say, I mean, like when somebody asks question, the answer comes in the mind. Okay, if somebody asks me this question, what I will answer. So how do I know if we are progressing very nicely in our Krishna consciousness? And I was thinking the answer is holy name. And Prabhupada said the barometer of our Krishna consciousness is chanting. So I was thinking naturally Prabhupada will say how much taste we have in Krishna consciousness, that much how much we have made advancement. And surprisingly, Prabhu said it is based on how much eagerness you have to associate and hear from devotees. I was like, wow. Is that how much eagerness you have to come together and discuss about the Lord? How much, and then he said, how much enthusiasm you have to do service. Our enthusiasm is a sign of our, is a healthy sign of our Krishna consciousness. When we are bubbling with desire to do something more. And um, we want to move towards the path of selfless devotion because it is very difficult. Um, because every service, the kind of, like Rupa Goswami says, we are haunted um, constantly by desire from bhukti and mukti. These two desires kind of haunt the living entity. The personal self comes into being. Um, and actually, Prabhupada says the reason we are in this material world, it's a very difficult statement for me to understand and long time for me to practice. For me to come out of this is actually the root of our existence. But he said the reason we are here is because of the desire to enjoy and desire to be self-centered. And actually, the more we become selfless in our service, the more we will derive joy in our heart. Just without any expectation, if we give any form of Krishna consciousness to others, any form of Krishna consciousness, if you give and if they receive it, the joy that comes by seeing other receiving it, seeing other appreciating Krishna, um, that is very satisfying. Like I remember like how Prabhupada, I mean, we all have heard. I'm just whatever thoughts are coming, I'm sharing. Um, um, when Prabhupada was in the beginning and Prabhupada would speak and people may not take much interest, then um, Prabhupada will give food, prasadam, people will eat and they will feel so happy. And Prabhupada would say, yes, Mahaprabhu's mission. Only 2, 3 people will come. And Prabhupada was like, Mahaprabhu's mission is, um, um, I can see Mahaprabhu's mission is successful now. Why? People are appreciating prasadam. Or you do some kirtan and people are kind of feeling happy about the kirtan. Any any way we are get to serve in a Krishna conscious way.
Bus goes.
Michael, can you mute? Yeah, okay, thank you, Prabhu. So anyway we get an opportunity to give Krishna to others. And just how our happiness comes from is just an opportunity to render service. And especially when we serve with a particular mood, when we prepare for service in a particular mood, and if somebody accept our service, that should be our happiness, is if somebody can accept our service. That is very good. Then there is opposite side of it, like just an opportunity to render service and being able to be of some seva. That is a kind of the greatest joy. On the opposite side, naturally, it's like, um, why are you asking me to do service? Not very nice, but rather just if we are bubbling with enthusiasm to serve and we are looking what more can I do? How can I stretch myself to do something more? At the same time, we always should feel ourselves highly unqualified to be able to do anything. Like um, Kalakanda Prabhu came. I mean, he is very successful in his outreach activities. He came, and then he just mentioned very casually that I'm very unqualified and I'm not intelligent, so that's why I'm able to do very little. But eventually, some intelligent people, some more qualified people will come and take the project to another level of making Western devotees. But at this point of time, since because of my um, incompetencies. I'm able to do only little bit. Somebody would do much better. So yes, we are full of disqualifications. Agreed. Um, um, and we all have our own skills. We all are good at something, and we are not good at something. Um, yet everybody has an opportunity to serve Krishna. In spite of our strengths and weaknesses, it's not a disqualification to go back to Godhead. Yes, very limited, cannot do most of the things that everybody else can do, is not qualified. Um, but then we may have a desire. Okay, my dear Lord Krishna, how can I serve in this situation? Okay, if I can do this much, let me do this. If Krishna has given everybody something, and using that something, that quality that Krishna has given us, because everybody is needed, using that capacity that Krishna has given us, and with gratitude using that capacity in Krishna's service. That's all. We are all very insignificant beings, very insignificant. And the best is to sometimes having a lot of skills become disqualification also, because that makes us tendency to become proud. The only qualification a devotee should possess is dependence on Krishna. Yes, one is dependence on Krishna in a humble mood. Yes, um, um, mm, don't have these skills. Mm, can't do this, can't do this, can't do this, can't do this, can't do this. Yes, cannot do most of the things, not qualified to do any things, but okay. In this way, I can serve. Also, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, better to do one's duty perfectly than somebody else's duty imperfectly. And in Krishna consciousness, there is nothing higher or lower. It's in our conception of ourself, our ahankar self, egoistic self, that we have conception of higher and lower. As long as we are engaged in Krishna service, um, Krishna will reciprocate. And anyways, all the qualities anyways come from Krishna also. Krishna says there are primary qualities, there are secondary qualities, and the primary qualities is surrender. And surrender means dependence on Krishna. And when we depend on Krishna, all um, um, Krishna will guide us. If we just depend on Krishna, how can I serve? Krishna will guide us. All that is required from a living entity side is just a desire. Just a desire, because we hear from Bhagavad Gita, beyond desire, nothing is in our hand. Rest, everything is in orchestration by Krishna's plan. Krishna will orchestrate his plan in a divine way, through devotees, or he will speak from our heart, he will speak through Guru, he will speak through books. Krishna will resonate, but ultimately in our hand, just a desire, and Krishna gives us opportunity to render some service. And whoever is doing whatever service they are doing is based on their desire. And the moment we lose that desire, Krishna takes away the opportunity also. It's all a reflection of our own consciousness. And we see that the devotees, the pure devotees of the Lord, they are fully dependent on the mercy of Krishna. And that's why they have no vices. They have no vices. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, very humbling verse. Srimad Bhagavatam says, who is qualified to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam? One who is free from all vices. He is qualified to discuss from Bhagavatam. How can we become free from all vices? By taking shelter of Krishna. That's how. That's the path described. One particular example which was coming out to me earlier This morning was Aghasura. And something that I was recently reading and hearing is something about fear. How fear is a very strong emotion. Um, Fear, attachments, Krishna says, uh, Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha in Bhagavad Gita 4.10. Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. Rag is attachment, or moha, bhaya, fear, and krodha, anger. And Krishna says, one who can become free from these three things, bhaya, raga, bhaya, krodha, um, and one who get knowledge about me, which basically is Shravana. Hearing about Krishna and becoming free from bhaya, rag, and krodha, then mad bhava. Krishna says, then he will attain love for me. So I was just contemplating for a little while on this. Oh wow. So somebody who become free from fear. Now fear is a very strong emotion. And I was just somehow recently thinking about so many fears that I have. Whether it is fear of disease, whether it is fear of some animals, whether it is fear of a circumstances. Many times um, um, to many times we don't want to start preaching because of fear of failure. That is another big fear. Or fear of public opinions. There are many fears that actually stops us. Fear of going beyond our comfort zone. Oh, that is too difficult. What will it be like? What will I do? So this fear is a very strong emotion that stops us from serving Krishna at every step. We lie because of fear. We manipulate because of fear. And there are many things that arise because of fear. Very strong emotion. uh, and I was contemplating this particular pastime of Aghasura, that how fearless are these cowherd boys of Krishna when they were entering the mouth of Aghasura. And he's a huge snake. And he's opening his mouth, and one side is touching the cloud. And they are getting this bad smell, which is from the rotten animals that this Aghasura has eaten. And they could actually understand that this seems like a huge snake. But they are still fearless to go inside. And it's dark. I mean, it's not like um, green bushes and trees. It's not that kind of comfortable, or what do we say, unknown environment. Many times unknown environment brings fear. It's all over this. Many, I mean, the more we see, the more we realize how strong is this emotion of fear within us. And Krishna says the first step that we have to cross, uh, before we can actually uh, take deeper shelter of Krishna, is becoming free from fear. And Prabhupada says something about fear. He says, especially he says for sannyasis, they don't have any fear, so they can go to the forest and various animals. They don't have fear because they know Krishna is in control, and Krishna is sitting in everybody's heart. So that's Prabhupada says that's a qualification, or that's something specially for sannyasis. That's why they can travel in the forest in the late nights amidst so many unknown creatures. So I was thinking that these cowherd boys, they stepped in, they were walking on this jiva, tongue of Aghasura, and they were going, and it's all like you enter into somebody's mouth. So there is all these gums, like reddish pinkish environment, and there is saliva, and there is all these things, and they are just going inside. So there is excitement. There is excitement. Um, um, and then Krishna also was calling them, that Krishna understood that these cowherd boys, they are going inside, and Krishna became concerned, because Krishna know this is very cruel demon. And Bhaktivedanta Thakur says Aghasura represents cruelty. Cruelty means one who wants to cause harm to somebody unnecessarily cause harm to others. Recently, one devotee was telling me that, Prabhu, when somebody does something not very good with me, then I don't want to harm them because I want to practice compassion. But I pray to Krishna that Krishna, please punish them. Krishna, please punish them. I think this is not a good prayer, Prabhu. We don't pray to Krishna, Krishna, please punish them. We see the example of Haridas Thakur when he was prosecuted, Jesus Christ when he was going through trouble. We don't see them praying, Krishna, they are really causing me a lot of trouble, they are causing me a lot of anxiety, please punish them. So this is actually cruelty, where we are um, kind of a unwell-wisher of somebody else. Well-wisher means let others be happy. And Prabhupada said that's what sadhu means. Sadhu means let everybody be happy. Something like Sarva Sukhino Bhavanti. This is a prayer of a sadhu, let all living entities be happy. So purposefully trying to, or praying to Krishna, Krishna, please punish them. This is like Aghasura in our heart. And this Aghasura was, and Krishna know that he is a very cruel. And for them to go inside, Krishna also called them to stop. They looked at Krishna. Krishna was waving his hand. They were like waving back, and they were smiling and they were joking, and it was an excitement for them. And they were going inside, and their hope was Krishna will protect us. That's all their hope is, that Krishna will protect us. That requires, that is a level of faith. Krishna will protect us. We can go inside and Krishna will protect us. Naturally, there are three kinds of devotees. Kanishtadikari, Madhyamadhikari, Uttamadhikari. And it is based on faith. So they have that faith, Krishna will protect me. Shiva Thakur had that faith, Krishna will provide the food. So there is a level, that's a level of faith. And that comes more and more with our personal relationship with Krishna. As a relationship with Krishna becomes grow and becomes more and more personal, and there is reciprocation. But we see from this song by, I think, Govindas, Bhaja Hure Mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charanara Vindare Sita Pa Atapa Bata Barishana. The second paragraph actually. But anyways, Bhaja Hure Mana Shri Nanda Nandana Abhaya Charana Ravendare. Again, this emotion also goes away by dependence on Krishna. This, we also see that Krishna Surya Sama Maya Hoy Andhakar, Jaha Krishna Taha Nahi Maya Andhakar, Jaha Krishna Taha Nahi Maya Adhikar. So where there is dependence on Krishna, Maya is not there. The moment Krishna is not there, these emotions.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Mataji. So wherever Krishna is not there, so many emotions will be there, attachment will be there. We cannot become free from any one of these things unless we increase our own dependence on Krishna. Naturally, that's why the only thing that we hear from Prabhupada, that we hear from our individual spiritual master is increasing our own Krishna consciousness, or increasing our dependence on Krishna. One simple example that came to my mind, one Prabhupada example I heard from Yugal Kishore Prabhu. Um, Prabhupada asked his disciple to carry this tortoise. They were running behind him and he went into the ocean, and then they could not find him anymore. So Prabhupada said, because he has taken shelter of infinite, now he is beyond your reach. And Prabhupada said, likewise, Krishna is infinite. And when we take shelter of Krishna, then we are under Krishna's protection. Nobody can touch us. Maya cannot touch us, or nobody can touch us. And it all depends upon um, our shelter of Krishna. I was also contemplating that this tortoise was actually very afraid when these devotees were trying to catch him. I mean, see the emotion that he was going through. What do I do? Or they're going to catch me, what they're going to do with me. And he's trying to run away. And they are running. And he's running away. And they are running. And then he went into the ocean. And then he felt safe. And then he's like, looking back, nobody can see them. He went little more, I mean, till he was on the surface of the ocean, he was very curious to go more deeper into the ocean. When he went into more and more depths into the ocean, now he knew that now they cannot come here. Now I'm safe. So likewise, we are like surfacing our Krishna consciousness, but the more and more we try to strengthen our own Krishna consciousness, that is the only way we can come to this point of Vita Raga Bhaya Krodha. Another thing is this attachment. We naturally have tendency to become attached to something, a situation, a person, an object, a post, whatever they are, or our image in the society, fame. We naturally there are these many attachments, and these attachments stops us from progressing. These attachments, they cannot make us free to practice Krishna consciousness. They bind us. That's why Krishna says, unless one becomes free from these attachments and these fear and growth, one cannot progress, because then we are bound by these attachments, and we become bhaya conscious, and we become attachment conscious, and we get all these things. And then how can we freely practice Krishna consciousness? How can we open up our Krishna consciousness? That's why Prabhupada also says that Krishna consciousness begins after liberation. Because how can we become Krishna conscious when the moment there is, uh, so many fears and so many attachments? That kind of like Rupa Goswami, I love it. He says like haunting, like a ghost, because every activity is contaminated. I'm talking about Krishna conscious activity, because naturally, we are practicing for some time, so we don't want to do activities, I mean, which are unfavorable directly. But even when we are doing favorable activities, Krishna consciousness, our attachment take us away from Krishna. Our different fears take us away from Krishna. They don't let us freely serve or freely take shelter of Krishna. And Krodha is because of contemplation. When we contemplate on a mental thought, it becomes strong. We become attached to our own conceptions. And then from there, Krodha comes, whatever it is. But it begins with a contemplation. And if contemplation is in the wrong direction, then naturally there'll be frustration from there. So what is the essence? I mean, why I want to share that? Don't know. These are just some of the things I was just reflecting. How strong emotion is fear, and how fear stops us. But at the same time, one thing which will help us go beyond these things is good association. Good association will keep us going forward. Good association will push us to go beyond our comfort zones. A good association will help restrict our attachments and inspire us to take shelter of Krishna. Good association or devotee association. um, um, Good association, in good association, um, we feel like, oh, this is not good, this cloth is not good, this attachment is not good, I don't want that, I don't want that. So there is this stage of sadhana where the devotees surrounding us, they will keep pulling us. Their behavior will humble us. Their behavior, we will feel like, oh, what a wretched soul I am. I have these things, and this devotee is so sincere in his Krishna consciousness. Inspirational. I don't want it. The power of association. The power of association, that we can say no to unwanted things. We can cross beyond our own thing. That's why devotees will push us always in our Krishna consciousness. Okay, so these were some of the thoughts I shared by all of your mercy. If there is any reflection, we can take now or we can end.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I was contemplating upon this fear aspect. So, Prabhuji, one who is like in our state, like as a sadhaka, uh, our like a healthy fear is like whether my practices are uh, favorable to Lord, like where they're being accepted by Lord. So this sometimes Prabhuji, this fear of rejection by the Lord. I don't know how to put it like this, but this fear, when so for a materialist, the fear is like fear of like this death is there, this disease, this. But for a devotee, is like whether he would be able to become a devotee in this life, or whether he's practicing to become a devotee. But then this sometimes this fear of rejection, like I'm practicing, but what if it is not being accepted by the Lord? So this fear of rejection, and this is sometimes overpowering, that it doesn't let us focus um, in a so some happy index should be there, some so that we can focus nicely in the past times. But sometimes this fear of rejection by the Lord, I don't know how to put it, Prabhuji. So what is your input on that?
Prabhuji, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, something is to be feared, mode of goodness. One knows what is to be feared, what is not to be feared. Fear of material existence is a healthy fear. Fear of falling down is a healthy fear. But the fear that stops us to progress in our Krishna consciousness is an unhealthy fear. So when Krishna says Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha, it's the Bhaya which is unhealthy fear. Like, some thoughts are coming. I don't want to lose the train of thoughts. But one example is the wives of the Brahmana, they ran when Krishna called them, but the Brahmanas were afraid of Kamsa. There is this unhealthy fear of how I will be perceived, which is stopping me to become Krishna conscious. And those unhealthy fears in our life, what they are, I don't know. But I can reflect for myself what are some of the fears that are not making me do more seva, or do selfless service, or to reach out. Let me think. Some more thoughts are there. One thing that I was thinking while you were mentioning, Prabhu, is there is a quality of a devotee which is hope against hope. This is an advanced quality where a devotee thinks, I have no hope to make it back home, back to Godhead. And then within that hopelessness, there is a hope that there is a possibility. This is achintya, inconceivable. He thinks I cannot go. At the same time, in that he thinks maybe I can make it. And I mean, it's a very advanced quality at the stage of bhava, but we can reflect. It's not that yes, bhava is a very small, very advanced stage, but whatever qualities are there, we may have in very minute quantity. Just like one of the quality at the stage of bhava is avyartha kalatva. They don't waste time. So we may also try not to waste time, be Krishna conscious, but then we will have in a minuscule amount. So all the qualities, nine qualities described the stage of bhava, we can see all those qualities in us also as we are growing, but it is something that will um, attain perfection at that stages. And likewise, the anarthas, they will start diminishing and they are reducing, and they will attain kind of a stage of um, insignificance at that stage. So anarthas keep going down, then these qualities will keep increasing. But this quality of hope against hope will help. Did I answer, Prabhu?
Prabhuji, this is helpful. I'm trying to contemplate, Prabhuji, how to overcome this fear of this. I mean, you mentioned about the association of devotees, but somehow, Prabhuji, this remains in the backdrop.
What is the fear
Even though,
that I won't be able to make it to Krishna in this lifetime?
yes, Prabhuji, similar to that, what if, whether my all the endeavors, are they being accepting, are they being accepted, or they are simply rejected? This kind of fear.
Krishna never rejects us, Prabhuji. Um, and Prabhupada says like hope-giving statement. Prabhupada says Krishna is more eager to have us come back to him than we are eager to go back to him. And whatever eagerness we have multiplied by millions, and that much eagerness Krishna has to bring us back because he has pure love for us. We are in a stage of reawakening our love which is within our heart, but he is already having that pure love. And what is pure love is beyond our dictionary understanding, because something it takes one to know, one to understand, but that's what Krishna has for us, Prabhuji. And whatever we are able to do, the association we have, the surroundings we have, the services we have, is actually his mercy to bring us back to him. He's actually helping us in all these different directions. And also, like spiritual master says that like um, I mean, one time I remember Yuval Kishore Prabhu in the beginning stages. I told him that, Prabhu, I have this fear of losing you, and he said, I won't reject you unless you reject me. So likewise, Krishna, all the qualities in devotees come from Krishna, and Krishna qualities are like Krishna says like, I won't reject you until you reject me. And we hear that the living entity Krishna says, I'm always waiting just if this bird can turn towards me and take shelter of me. So there is no possibility of Krishna rejecting us. Shastrically speaking, and we all have our own experiences how Krishna loves us. Krishna love is reciprocated through devotees' love, devotees' care. Through the holy name, Krishna reciprocates love. And in various ways, Krishna reciprocates his love. But at the same time, he wants us to go more and more and more because the path is very long and the hindrances are a lot. And these hindrances, we ourselves have to cross over them. These barriers, we ourselves have to cross over them. They are our responsibility. And how do we take the responsibility? We cross over them by taking shelter of Krishna, by taking shelter of devotees. We try. We have to take a step. And then Krishna encourages. Always you do something beyond you, Krishna will encourage. But those steps are our responsibilities. Did I address Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, that those steps are our responsibilities. Somehow, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very well. Okay, anything else for today?
Very wonderful class, Prabhuji. That's all I just wanted to say. Thank you so much.
You're a wonderful soul. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you. So I guess, okay. Although I feel like somebody was saying,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Dandavat Pranam, Nishkinjan Nitai Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
As Prabhuji, Devadita Prabhuji did is really wonderful class. So many points of contemplation today. So Prabhuji, question, the same question as Prabhuji asked. The question was very wonderful. It was my question also, but you answered most of the part. So Prabhuji, I mean, to be specific,
Prabhu, I lost you.
to my, am I audible, Prabhuji?
Prabhu, when you said you were audible, that part was audible.
Also,
Okay, let's try again.
okay, I'm sorry, Prabhu. I mean, maybe I'm in the car. That's what. So Prabhuji, what I am saying is, when we have in the heart and we pray to the Lord, hope it is audible.
Yeah, I'm hearing. So you are saying when we pray to the Lord?
Yeah, when we pray to the Lord, I mean, Lord is taking complete responsibility for the purification, and so many tests come in our life. We thought, I just prayed for the Lord for removing my anarthas, and again, so many tests coming in their life, one after another. Krishna take test in our life actually, but sometimes we fear the same question that, I will fail to this test because I am not capable of passing this test. But I heard that Krishna, make such a test in our life which only we can pass, but still we fail, Prabhuji. So that is the fear come, that how many more tests will come in our life. Is that bhakti means test after test, exam after exam?
Well, the feeling that I have on this respect is kindness and patience. Krishna is very kind, and Krishna is very patient. He is very kind because he wants our welfare. And he puts us in a situation, go for it, go through it. We're like, no, Krishna, I can't do this. No, I can't do this. Okay, Krishna, go for it, do it, try it. And Krishna puts us in a situation, Krishna watches us. Full of kindness, full of love. But we have to take the steps. Krishna gives association, Krishna gives inspiration, Krishna arranges, Krishna is very patient, Krishna is very kind, and Krishna is waiting. Because there's something that we have to do. That is our responsibility, is using our free will to serve. Some things that we have to do by ourselves. And then when we do it, he is thoroughly pleased. Wow. And then he is pleased, then he feels like one step closer. But there is another obstacle now, which is stopping us from devotion. Okay. And then Krishna is individually working on all of us so that we can awaken our Krishna consciousness. And nothing bad goes away easy. Everything is a uh, it's hard phases, bro. If we see from our perspective, it's hard. Why it's hard? Because we are bound by those emotions. We are bound by so many coverings. So for us to cross them is very hard. But then Krishna is like waiting. And then we cross, then Krishna puts us in another test, which will help us remove other obstacles. And I mean, something in simple words, my spiritual master says that Krishna will bring the anarthas that are hiding deep within us, and we have to deal with them. And then if we take shelter of Krishna in those situations, and by the strength given by Guru and Krishna, Balram is very wonderful. They are like constantly, you know, anyways, when um, we cross a step, there is another step Krishna wants us to cross through, and it brings a lot of hardships in our life, and lot of turmoils and lot of struggles. A lot of bad thoughts may also come, but it is all Krishna's test. It is all Krishna's love. Instead of Krishna's test, we can use the word this is Krishna's love, because he only wants our welfare. So he puts us and we go through various emotional turmoils, disturbed, angry, frustrated. And that's because we are dealing with Krishna's love. And Krishna is putting us in front of us. Okay, go for it. Do it, try it, deal with it. And then gradually, by the mercy of and by the help of Krishna only, we can overcome to some extent that particular obstacle. And why we have to go through these things, just Krishna wants us, because um, Krishna wants us to awaken our Krishna consciousness. And whatever it takes to go through it, it's something Krishna will put us in this situation. Krishna will guide us internally. Krishna will guide us externally through Guru, internally as Paramatma, through Vaishnavas, through scriptures. But we have to walk the path. Coach, did I in any way address?
Yes, Prabhuji, we have to walk the path actually. I have to walk it. Really, it's good. I have to contemplate more on this. But yeah, really help guidelines to be that Krishna is more eager to purify us than we. That is, you told it last answer also. So, really. Thank you, Prabhuji. I have to think more on this. If any question I can ask next time.
Krishna is always kind, Prabhu. Krishna is waiting for us. Krishna is making all arrangements in our life. We just have to see the hand of Krishna in those situations, and with gratitude, keep moving on the path.
Hey, Krishna, is there a possibility to ask one more
Yes,
question?
go ahead.
So, thank you, Prabhuji. It was a very, I don't know, like a very hands down, they say, a class which is very relatable, because we all go through various emotions. So, this emotion of fear, Prabhuji, this is very real. And I heard in a few classes that fear, we have fear when we have this thought that we are the controllers. So unfortunately, I feel I go through this a lot. And I just wanted to ask Prabhuji, what are some of the practical tips that you could share to overcome spiritual as well as material fears? Like, where do we concentrate our energy when we are going through a fearful emotion or fearful situation? How do you overcome that, Prabhuji, practical?
I don't know the answer to this question. What I know is we have to fight with our fears. And it's just like, one way to understand is Krishna help those who help themselves. And we want to put faith in Krishna, because fear means there is unknown. This may happen, this may happen, this may happen. Even this wives of Brahmana, they were like, Krishna, who will accept us? This is also actually coming from fear. Krishna, who will accept us? Now we came to you, we rejected our own husbands. They stopped us. In front of our own in-laws, they stopped us. But our love for you was so, they didn't say that, but naturally the love was so strong that they were just drawn, as if nothing else matters in life other than pleasing Krishna. And now there was like, this question comes, Bhagavatam, Krishna, what will happen now? Who will accept us? Krishna says, it will be taken care. You will be very well received. You go back. And they went back, and everybody was feeling humbled. These husbands, Brahmana husband, they were thinking, we are so useless. The purpose is to please Narayan. Narayan has come asking for food, and we were so much attached to our yagyas and mudras and other things. And these, our wives, they are great souls, pure devotees of the Lord. So this is something how Krishna takes care of the situation. Krishna will be there to help us. We have to fight with our fear, taking shelter of Krishna with the dependence on Krishna, and Krishna will make it successful. But we have to fight our fears. Did I answer?
Yes, Prabhuji. That's helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Prabhuji, some reflections on Nishkinchanatai Prabhu's question. I remember when Nayan Sundari went through lung transplant and then she recovered. We were thinking, or at least I was thinking, oh, this is it. Whatever was a karma accrued, over millions of lives or whatever it is, it's gone now. But when it came second time, and this is where my question lies. We hear that okay, Hiranyakashipu, if we think about him, how Lord did is without anesthesia surgery. So sometimes to develop the deeper faith, the price one has to pay is sometimes really hard, Prabhu, to actually understand. It's a difficult path, Prabhu, but I just don't know what is the answer for that. Krishna is there. I completely agree on your point. He wants our welfare. Completely agree on that point. But when we see, Prabhu, the price great souls paid, like Pandavas, Bhishma Dev, so many souls there, there is no problem with the faith, Prabhu, but it just, will I be able to pay the price? That is one thing which makes me more fearful, Prabhu.
I mean, but I can see you went through a lot of fears in your life, Prabhu. A lot of fearful circumstances, emotions. And you went through them and you came out in Krishna conscious state. Great. We all have to go through various fears in our lives. Everything is within. It's something that stops us from attaining our Krishna consciousness. I don't know what I'm speaking. So, Devendra, you had a question for me, or it was kind of a thoughtful reflection?
The last part was the question, Prabhu. Will I be able to pay the price? Because it's not easy. Krishna is there. That is crystal clear. But how do I actually, Prabhu, it's going to come. That's what I know. Any time of my life. But how do I prepare? When it comes, then I'm not fearful. Am I making sense, Prabhuji?
Yeah, I heard your question. I mean, I was reflecting based on like when fear comes, probably if Krishna is Guru and Krishna very kind to us, they will give us this understanding. See, here there is a fear. Do I fight? Or do I lose hopes? Or do I deal with it? And then there is the factor of dependence on Krishna, that Krishna, please help me in this situation, and we walk. Just like when Gopas were going in the mouth of Aghasura, Krishna will help us, and they walked. And Krishna asked whatever devotee. So there is like in our life, this, I was just contemplating on Gopas moving in the mouth of Aghasura. It's like we moving in our life, especially when there are fears, and we depend on Krishna and we walk. But ultimately, we have to fight with our own fears and walk. And also Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, if you depend upon me, you will cross over. So the one factor which I was thinking is dependence on Krishna and fight with our fears and walk. Whatever the situation is, depend on Krishna and walk. Depend on Krishna and walk. Depend on Krishna and walk. Did he answer, Prabhuji?
Very beautiful, Prabhu. Rather than focusing on fear, it's better to focus on dependence on Krishna. He will take over, That's what I realize based on your answer. Is that fair?
And walk into the mouth of Aghasura. and see, bro, if we depend on Krishna, Krishna is not going to cheat us. Obviously. It's just a matter of, do I have the strength to depend on Krishna and walk into the mouth of Aghasura? Can I do that?
Those pastimes, Prabhu, now give a different meaning altogether, to be honest. How much dependence on, you're just, you're compromising your life and then you're still willing to do it because you have so much of faith on Krishna. That is tremendous, Prabhu. It's just beyond imagination now. The same story, same pastimes actually give you a different reflection now, because now you're thinking about how much dependence they had. Will I have that? That's amazing.
That was shocking to me. And I was like, how can they walk in? Krishna will, that's actually our life. Walking in the mouth of Aghasura and depending on Krishna. And Krishna will be there. If we cross our fears and walk, Krishna will be there with us.
Golden line, Prabhu. We are walking in the mouth of Aghasura. Beautiful. Thank you.
Okay, so I think we will end here. Thank you all for joining and for encouraging. Vancha kalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Prabhuji and Mataji, Danvat Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Shyamanand Krishna Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Vrinda ki jai.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Prabhuji.
much,
Very
Prabhuji.
grateful.
Hari
Very,
Bol,
very
Hari
Thank you
grateful.
so
Bol.
much. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.